this. He narrowed his eyes as the flames licked the walls of the wooden house that was burning like dry kindling. He wasn't weak or pathetic or useless any longer. Now he took what he wanted and damned the consequences. His good sense started to creep in around the anger, as it always did. Sometimes, unfortunately, the consequences damned him, especially when the anger took over as it had tonight. Tonight wasn't the first time he'd stood back, looking at something he'd done, barely remembering the deed itself. It was the first fire. He swallowed hard. It was the first fire in a long time. But he'd done other things. Necessary things. Things that would get him sent to prison if he got caught. Real prison this time, not juvenile detention, which was bad enough, but manageable if a person had enough brains. Tonight he'd killed. And he didn't regret it. Not a bit. But he was lucky. This house was far away from any neighbors, any prying eyes. What if it had been a normal neighborhood in the city? What if he'd been seen? He asked himself the same question every time. What if he got caught? One day the rage that bubbled inside him was going to get him into more trouble than he could manage on his own. It ruled him, made him vulnerable. He gritted his teeth. And being vulnerable was the one thing he would never let happen again. Suddenly the answer seemed so very clear. The rage had to go. So the source of the rage had to go, which meant all the people who'd hurt them, looked the other way. They all needed to go. Standing here, watching the flames, the memory of each one of those people came back. He could see faces, hear names, feel hate. He tilted his head as the roof crashed in, sending sparks flying skyward like a million mini flares. He'd made one hell of a fireworks show. It'd be hard to top a display like that. But of course, he would. He didn't do anything halfway. Whatever he did, he'd need to do well. For Shane. And for himself. Then he could finally close the book on this part of his life and move on. That last shower of sparks might be enough to summon the local fire department. He'd better get while the getting was good. He got in his car and turned back toward the city, a smile bending his lips. The beginnings of a plan were forming in his mind. It would be one hell of a show. And when the final curtain fell, Shane could finally rest in peace. And I'll finally be free. Chapter 1. Chicago, Saturday, November 25th, 11:45 p.m. A branch slapped the window, and Caitlin Burnett's jaw clenched. "It's just the wind," she muttered. "Don't be such a baby." Still, the howling outside was unsettling, and being alone in the Dohertys' creaky old house wasn't helping. She dropped her eyes back to the statistics book that was responsible for her being alone on a Saturday night. The party at Tri Epsilon would have been a hell of a lot more fun than this. Noisier, too. Which was why she was here, studying the most boring subject in the quiet of a boring old house, instead of trying to study with a party going on all around her room. Her stat professor had scheduled an exam for Monday morning. If she failed it, she'd fail for the semester. If she failed one more class, her father would take away her car, sell it, and use the money to take her mother to the Bahamas. Caitlin ground her teeth. She'd show him. She'd pass that damn test if it killed her. And if she didn't, she had nearly enough money in savings to buy the damn car herself, or maybe even a better one. The money the Dohertys were paying her to take care of their cat was chintzy, but enough to put her over the top, and... A different noise had her chin jerking up, her eyes narrowing. What the hell? It came from downstairs. It sounded like a chair scraping against the hardwood floor. Call the police. She had her hand on the phone, but she drew a breath and made herself calm down. It's probably just the cat. She'd look pretty stupid calling the police about a 20-pound, overly pampered Persian. Plus, she really wasn't supposed to be here right now. Mrs. Doherty had been clear about that. She was not to stay...